We Americans, we're always looking for the shortcut, the inside track, the one-pill solution to every problem. You know, we want world peace resolved in a 30-minute sitcom, and we expect complicated medical problems to be solved with a clever review of an MRI. Equally unrealistic is our expectation that there exists some promised land of guilt-free, sugar-free candies and desserts that allow us to keep eating anything we want. In fact, we want this fantasy so badly that we're willing to overlook little things like brain tumors, seizures, joint problems, and even death. Those and 92 other dangerous side effects come from a commonly used artificial sweetener, with a sordid history of poor research, cover-ups, and other nonsense. But that hasn't stopped this toxic poison from invading thousands of different foods and beverages we eat every day. You see, back in 1965, while people were protesting the Vietnam War and rocking out to the Rolling Stones, Bob Dylan, and Jimi Hendrix, scientist James Shatler tripped over one of today's most commonly used and accepted chemical concoctions, aspartame. While recrystallizing a chemical compound, aspartophenyllanine methyl ester, some of the powder spilled and got onto Shatler's fingers. While not realizing this, he licked his fingers and inadvertently noticed the sweet taste. 4 years later, in 1969, the Journal of the American Chemical Society reported on aspartame, discussing the accidental discovery of an organic compound with a profound sucrose, or table sugar-like taste. Sugar-like taste is an understatement. Aspartame is 100 to 200 times sweeter than sugar, depending on the concentration. But what exactly is this chemical sweetener? Whether you're talking about the little yellow packets of Equal or NutraSweet, aspartame remains a laboratory creation. It is composed of 3 elements: aspartic acid, phenylalanine, and methanol. Both aspartic acid and phenylalanine are amino acids, which sounds good, right? Not really. You see, aspartic acid is a known excitotoxin, which means it overstimulates your nervous system. Phenylalanine is the precursor to tyrosine, which is used to make excitatory neurotransmitters. Notice a pattern here? Now, excitatory transmitters energize you and speed up processes in your body. Now, add in the methanol. Well, methanol is used to make formaldehyde, which is a colorless, poisonous gas. It is commonly used to make resin adhesives, paints, disinfectants, and embalming fluids. Ah, yeah, that sounds great. And if you drink it straight, well, you can go blind. Mix them all together, and this combination has been found to have potent excitatory effects on brain chemistry, which often lead to a whole host of health problems, including headaches, dizziness, anxiety, and depression. Clearly, the "is aspartame safe" question is a resounding no. So how is it that aspartame is even legal? Well, tricky maneuvering seems to be the answer on this one. In 1973, pharmaceutical giant G.D. Searle and Company petitioned the FDA for approval of aspartame as an artificial sweetener. They submitted study after study proving its safety, but there was one problem. The studies were single-dose studies. This means that they were able to show that using aspartame daily, even in high doses, was safe. The issue here was the duration of the studies. They were frequently short, perhaps 1 to 3 months. This point was not lost on FDA physicians. In fact, Dr. Martha M. Freeman from the FDA Division of Metabolic and Endocrine Drug Products is quoted as saying, although it was stated that studies were also performed with DKP, which is an impurity which results from acid hydrolysis of aspartame, no data is provided on this product. She goes on to say, it is not feasible to extrapolate results of a single-dose testing to the likely condition of use of aspartame as an artificial sweetener. Now, a second researcher, Dr. Madelon, takes it even further and compares aspartame to cigarettes, posting, let us say cigarettes were invented today, and you give 20 people 2 packs a day after 6 weeks. No one has cancer. Would you say it was safe? Well, that's what they did with NutraSweet. In 1974, Dr. J. Richard Clout, then acting director of the FDA Bureau of Drugs, well, he evaluated 113 studies submitted by G.D. Searle regarding aspartame. And here's what he concluded. The information submitted for our review was limited to narrative clinical summaries and tabulated mean values of laboratory studies. No protocols, manufacturing controls information, or preclinical data were provided. Now, such deficiencies in each area of required information precluded a scientific evaluation of the clinical safety of this product. Now, yes, aspartame was approved for use in dry goods on July 26, 1974, but only briefly. Now, dismayed by serious issues in basically 13 of the studies regarding genetic mutation, as well as outrage from public interest groups and concerns from Dr. John Olney, a neuropathologist who had connected aspartame with brain lesions in mice, the FDA Commissioner Alexander Schmidt froze the approval. He then ordered a task force to examine the safety of aspartame. So in March 1976, the task force presented their findings, and guess what? It didn't look good for GD Searle and aspartame. The task force had major issues with the types and quality of studies Searle had performed. Specifically, FDA lead investigator and task force team leader Philip Brodsky went so far as to say that he had never seen anything as bad as GD Searle's studies. Seems clear-cut, right? Wrong. After a series of legal and political maneuverings that are confusing at best and unethical at worst, the FDA changed its position and in March 1979 said that Searle's aspartame studies could be considered. Not that it mattered, because in 1980, the Public Board of Inquiry voted unanimously to reject aspartame until more studies were conducted regarding aspartame and brain tumors. A few studies were conducted by Searle, and in January 81, they reapplied for the approval of aspartame. On May 18, 1981, 3 of 5 scientists on the FDA approval panel raised issues with aspartame. They included concerns that the brain tumor data was worrisome. They also felt some of the data had been fabricated. Now at this point, they explicitly brought in a toxicologist to weigh in, bringing the panel to a total of 6 members. After pressure to come to a resolution kind of quickly, the panel was split 3-3 regarding the approval of aspartame. Using this information, then FDA Commissioner Arthur Hull Hayes Jr. overruled the Public Board of Inquiry and approved aspartame for use in dry goods on July 18, 1981. Then 2 years later, it was also approved for use in carbonated drinks, like diet soda. Fast forward now to 1996 when the FDA gave aspartame blanket approval as a general-purpose sweetener, despite ongoing concerns regarding its habitual, long-term use and a long list of side effects. This is particularly odd when you consider that 75% of all adverse reactions to food additives reported to the FDA are due to aspartame. Now, thanks to the Freedom of Information Act, the FDA has been required to keep a list of reactions and related aspartame side effects. All 92 of them. They include death, headaches, vision loss, seizures, hearing loss, joint pain, and breathing difficulties. And these issues are mild compared to the other dangers of aspartame consumption. Turns out many conditions are worsened or even brought on by aspartame, including cancer, brain tumors, Parkinson's disease, and Alzheimer's disease. But the negative effects of aspartame don't end there. Evidence also suggests that aspartame doesn't even do what it's touted to do, aid in weight loss. In fact, it very likely may have the complete opposite effect. And, according to the January 1997 issue of the International Journal of Obesity, aspartame and sucralose may in fact cause weight gain. Researchers divided 14 women into 3 groups. One group was given 4 aspartame-sweetened lemonades, one received 4 sucrose or sugar-sweetened lemonades, and the third group received carbonated mineral water on 3 separate days. Researchers found that the group that drank the aspartame-sweetened lemonade ate more calories in the 2 days that followed, as compared to those women in the regular lemonade and water groups. Additionally, the majority of those additional calories came from carbohydrates. Interestingly, there was no difference in appetite ratings between the group. In other words, while the diet lemonade didn't increase calories during the day of consumption, it clearly led to greater intake of food, particularly carbs, in the day that followed, Well, so much for the diet. So what do? Do you trust the government's flip-flopping on a chemical compound that has proven, documented health risks and concerns? One that doesn't even deliver on the promise of having your cake and eating it too? Well, no way. 2 amino acids and formaldehyde do not a natural product make. We say pass on the packets and the potential risk of aspartame poisoning. For a sweet boost, opt for stevia instead. This naturally sweet herb comes in both powdered and liquid forms and is the only sugar replacement that has been shown to improve insulin sensitivity rather than decrease it, which means you can use it to sweeten anything your heart desires without losing your soul. Please visit us today at naturalhealthsherpa.com/free and download these 3 free reports. Secrets to natural weight loss, amazing superfoods to boost your health, and natural therapies to combat the deadliest diseases.